Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We've got massive spikes in the markets today. Bitcoin and the Nasdaq are bleeding red, while gold and silver are finally catching a decent bid. It's looking like a brutal weekend ahead, so we're diving straight into the charts to find the safe havens and prepare for the volatility before it really kicks in. Let's get into it.
JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. How's everyone doing today? Smash the like button on your way in. Appreciate you guys for joining me. Let's see. I got a poll for you guys that I'm working on. When do we see an end to the conflict in Iran? You got this month, April, May for sure, or Q3, Q4, Q3 or Q4. Let me know what you guys think. Poll in the chat. Let's see what's going on. 88 Metals Mania. How was my day? My day was pretty good, actually. Pretty good. Gourmet Brands, Giovanni, Franco. Happy Friday, guys. Franco said, feel bad for people getting taken for a ride in this bear market going on going on month 6 now. I can't read, man. I can't read. I'm so sorry. All right, let's see. Hey, we are still in the bunker, guys. Happy Friday. How you guys doing? Let's get into the charts. We've got Bitcoin currently trading at $66,197.60. Let's go refresh the liquidation heat map and see where we're at. All right. Hello. There we go. Zoom in. We've got 65,766. 65,766. I gotta say, as much as the downside isn't that great, but I do like seeing some actual price movement. 64,497. I feel like Bitcoin's been the same price for like 6 months. It's ridiculous. 66,548. And the top of the top, we've got 67,867. It's amazing how a little bit of downside can completely shift the point of view. Here's my question is, are we going to see... Okay, hang on. We're going to officially stretch the fractal now. It is different, 100% different. Interesting. So beforehand, well, is it? Maybe it's not. I think we're going to get one more bounce. I'm going to actually erase this fractal. We're going to erase this fractal and we're going to get a new one. Now, I'm not a bearish guy, but this looks awfully similar. Let's see. Oh my gosh, are we going down to 40K? Whoa, that's like perfect. Well, see, I'm not entirely convinced of that either. This is more like it. So where do I gotta go? I gotta go in this valley. Yeah, let me do that. Let me do that. We're critiquing our fractal. Excuse me for a moment. I think that's the one. Let me get rid of this one. Now, this is not 100%, but it looks pretty dang good. I'm not going to lie. Scoot it back and squeeze. And right there. I don't know. It looks pretty good, man. It looks pretty good. Are we going down to 44K? You know, I have no clue. I have no clue. Gourmet said it's tough. Need diamond hands. 100% Gourmet. I'm a DCA guy. You guys know that. There's too many stories of people buying in like 2015 and holding till like 2021. So if I gotta wait a total of 6-7 years, I'm all for it. Have I been in crypto for a total of 6-7 years already? Maybe. God, has it really been that long? That's alarming. Greco said only Bitcoin is worthy of diamond hands. Alt should never be diamonded. Just as bad as holding pink slip penny stocks. So yeah, let's see if we get let's see if we break below 50K. Would be crazy. I'm still in the books for my 51.5 call from, let's get a little bit of educational charting going on. From right here. So based on everyone calling for pretty much the same exact cycle to play out again, we should, in my opinion, be pulling back to 51.5. And that's not only based on the 4-year cycle and then this exact same idea playing out right here, but the recency bias, I would like to call it, I guess, or I don't know. I don't know what else you would call it. It's just based on recent information. We got 84% pullback from top to bottom, 71% pullback from top to bottom, 58% pullback from top to bottom. And all I did was I took this 13 difference and I put it here. So it's nothing crazy. We might not pull back as far. We might pull back more. I have no clue. But that 58% from the top is around approximately $51,500. And what do we have back here? We've got leg down 1 and leg down 2. And we're probably in the middle of leg down 2 right now. Leg down 1, leg down 2. 1, 2. Is it going to be shallow like that? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the war going on in the Middle East is going to speed that up. It definitely seems as if, especially when you zoom out and look at it, this bear market played out like top to bottom over a very prolonged period of time. This one top to bottom, a lot shorter time. This one top to bottom, it would make sense for it to be a lot shorter of time. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to hit a new all-time high before October. That just means that we're probably going to hit our bottom sooner. We might chop and like burn sideways for just as long as we did in the past. You know. But if we hit that bottom sooner, then it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. I was going to say it sucks for less time, but I think it's going to suck just as much. Because the sideways, I think, in my opinion, is worse than the rip down. It's so much worse. So I'm happy to experience less sideways, I will say, if we do get that opportunity. But let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. As of right now, we got our weekend liquidity. Greco said, I've been calling 40s bottom since November because of all the noise on the weekly charts from last cycle. Nice to hear agreement out there. I don't even remember when I came to the 51.5 conclusion. I don't really have any one solidified plan, though. You know, I feel like people will insist, like, I picked this or that. And then if they're right or not, that's whatever. And that's totally fine. I just personally, I prefer the plausible deniability of being able to say, well, I've said one of everything. One of every possibility. Because that really is how it is. And I might be unpopular for that, but I don't really give a shit. Okay, so yeah, that's Bitcoin. We're at 66,270. 65 is going to be psychological level, and then 60 is going to be psychological, I guess, with the 2.5 in there, 62,500 and 67,500. Are we going to get a bounce? Are we going to bottom? I have no idea. Right now, it seems awfully bleak We do have bullish divergence. No, we do not. I made that up. Yep, I made that up. Well, hold on. Maybe we do. Ooh, we don't yet. Okay. I guess it depends on the time frame that you look at. No bullish divergence yet, but it is possible. Very soon. And it would be right here. If our candle bodies close a little bit lower, if we go right here and we bounce, then we will probably for sure have bullish div. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Not that it matters anyways. We got a green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. Negative money flow on market cipher. We are oversold in the 4-hour time frame, so let's see what happens. Saeed said, "Hi sir, long time no see. Was busy with fasting and EID as it was Ramadan last month. Cheers, Saeed. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good morning, where you live." Gourmet said, "I can't believe we're talking about 40, 50 BTC. Crazy. Are we tired of winning yet?" Right. Franco said, "I'm just wondering if there will be bad news that triggers leg down, or will it be slow grind down?" I hope it's not slow grind. I'm assuming that we're going to have troops on the ground. I think we're going to have troops on the ground before Sunday night. I think so. They might announce it tomorrow. No clue. Fully speculating, but I can feel it, Mr. Krabs. Okay. Gold. Gold kind of stole the show today. 44.93, up 2.54% on the day, getting a nice bounce off 43.81. It's weird because these lines are just arbitrary. You know, based on previous price action, you got your previous top, you got a previous resistance level, and that's where we bounced, that 42.50, which is that arbitrary psychological level. And I always talk about the 2.5 and then the 5s. 42.50 bounce, and then you came up, you rejected 46, and then you got to bounce off 43.81. Very arbitrary number. Perfectly bounced off of it. It's crazy. Am I trading gold? No. I only trade in assets that don't do what I have drawn on the charts. Saeed said EID means festival in Arabic. All right, very nice. So it's kind of like spring break? Is that... I guess spring break is like a gross American version of anything. Franco said, and let's say it's leg downs. Will it even be over bad news or one of Bitcoin patented surprise no reason capitulations? I don't know. There's people that are technical analysis maxis that'll insist. They'll be like, "You show me the candle, I'll show you the news," and they just think that, you know, it's all confirmation bias. And then there's people that think that it's entirely about the news, and then there's people that are dynamic and they don't know what the hell's going on. I'm one of the people that doesn't know what the hell is going on. I think right now we're very news-based. I don't think technical analysis can help anybody do anything. We can find random fun things where we're like, oh, look at gold bounced off of my 2 lines, but if the DXY would have pumped, then gold would have continued to dump. So this DXY, or this line, would have been completely useless. So TA is great until it's not. That's why it's called technical analysis and not technical fact. Gourmet said, yes, October 10th. Franco said, the flash crash that started all this, remember that one? The one that had no news or reason? No, it had news or reason. October 10th. So here's what happened. Here's what happened with October 10th. Binance had a promotion with Athena USD, which is a algorithmic stablecoin. You'd think we would have learned our lesson from FTX and Luna, but no. Athena USD had a promo, and the promo was like too good to be true return. And people basically flooded into this promo situation, and it caused a depegging event. And that depegging event, because it was Binance, kind of tweaked the information through the oracles. And the oracles provided all this information to everybody else, and everyone suddenly had all of this bad information. People got liquidated that weren't supposed to be liquidated because their USD value of their stablecoin in some situations dropped. And the stablecoin is supposed to be stable, so all of these cascading liquidations happen because of this one teeny tiny little issue, which is not teeny tiny at all, on Binance. And they admitted fault when they paid out all of the people on their platform. It was like $383 million, but there was like 19, oh, what was it? It was some ridiculous amount of money. Was it 9 billion, 19 billion? There was some crazy amount of money that was lost throughout the market. It's like if we exploded the moon, you know what I mean? Like Earth as Binance, the moon gets exploded. It's not just going to affect Earth, but Earth, we're like, oh, let's compensate everybody on Earth. The rest of the planets are screwed now too because there's no freaking moon. I don't know. That's what happened. That was the news that led to that. It wasn't really news. It was like a technical failure. And they paid people out. And then there was all these other rumors and all this other, these people like blockchain sleuths that investigate this stuff that figured it all out very early on. But I don't know. I would not be surprised to see a class action lawsuit in the future. And it's going to be a large sum of money. And fortunately for Binance, they probably have more than enough money to pay for it. Like I said, so Binance, huh? LOL. Just like when CZ caused the final capitulation last cycle when he threw SBF under the bus. That one I'm not sure about. Because it seems like SBF should have been thrown under the bus. You cannot embezzle your users' funds. And technically that is what he was doing. So regardless, I've said it a million times. CZ is a scary guy. He's a scary guy. He's like the most white-collar gangster on the planet. But I kind of respect him for it. You know what I mean? And I love SBF from prison. He's like, FTX was never insolvent. Bro, it was. It might not have been now if you would have held your stolen money investments, but people tried to withdraw and they couldn't because you didn't have their money. So just because your investments were good does not mean that that was not still illegal. You know what I mean? Like, Franco, I can literally steal all of your money right now. And maybe I invested in NVIDIA and NVIDIA goes up 100x and then I pay you back. I still stole from you. You know what I mean? I would still go to jail if you wanted to press charges. But if there was like 100 of you or 100,000 of you, I'd probably go to jail. That's what SBF did. Tom Southcote said Bitcoin leading indicator. When it dumps, sell all your other assets shortly after. I will say Bitcoin, what was Bitcoin? Was down a lot today, and alts weren't down nearly as much. Honda was doing good for a day, and then it did worse today. Pretty crazy. Snacks holding up-ish. Midnight's been weirdly, I don't know. Allegedly, personally, feels a little manipulated in my opinion. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, I feel like Bitcoin's gonna. Is it? Look at this. This looks awfully similar to this. Is it just gonna do that? I don't know. Branko said, Tom, yeah, depending on where we are in the cycle, but most of the time that's true. Okay, silver's up 2.43% on the day. The fractal on silver, I'm not entirely sold on, but it looks pretty dang good actually. If you really want to go there. So let's see if this thing climbs out of this little ditch that it's in and gets up to at least like 75. That'd be kind of cool. It's 69 right now. We do like that number. It's a fun number. Franco said, yeah, JJ, SBF kind of ruined alts forever, to be honest, and turned Bitcoin into a solely institutional asset. He killed retail. Question, though, is CZ a good guy or bad guy? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's like Al Capone. Do you think Al Capone was a good guy or bad guy? He was a gangster. He maybe did some cool, like, good things for some people, but he did a lot of bad things for other people. It's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. But he kind of put himself in that position, so... And the reason I compare him to Al Capone is because the only thing that they could pin Al Capone with is tax evasion. The only thing they could pin CZ with is money laundering, breaking money laundering laws. They're like, well, you didn't force KYC based on region, so that's money laundering, so you're going to go to prison. And then he got pardoned anyway, so it's kind of silly. Very, very, very Al Capone. Asian Al Capone. Al Capone. Is that okay? Oh man, that's good. Al Capone. Alright. I'm gonna get in trouble. Silver, 69.74. Let's get above 70. It's time, man. It's time. We got a nice wick indicative of some selling pressure for Billy Dollar Fine. Yeah, that was nothing for CZ. I would not be surprised if CZ was the richest man in modern history, and we just don't know because it's all on chain. ISM PMI comes out. When does it come out? in less than a week, next Wednesday. So that'll be fun. See if we're in expansion still. Dollar is above 100. We are at 100.193. Last time this happened was March 18th. So if we reject, that'll be good for risk assets. That'll be good for assets in general. I've explained it a couple of times, but the dollar going down is easy mode for investments. If the dollar goes up, that easy mode is removed. And there's a little bit of shell shock whiplash before everything settles down. And then any assets that actually are worth investing in or that have a reason to pump will pump, regardless of what the dollar's doing. It's just right now, everything is probably going up mostly because the dollar is decreasing. It's just the easy button. So since that's gone now, market has to readjust and figure out, like, well, what do we do if the dollar is actually decent? We got to be a little more picky with where we put our dollars. All right. 88 said he's the richest Canadian citizen. I'd say Justin Sun is a pretty wealthy fella also. Justin Sun, I don't know how to feel about him, man. I kind of feel bad because he, like, literally, anytime anyone's like, pay me for a dinner and you get to sit with me for a half hour, he does it. And it's kind of cringe to me, man. It's like paying to have friends. And he's like, I'm friends with Warren Buffett. No, you're not. You paid him like $1 billion to sit down and have dinner with him for an hour. You're like his sugar daddy. Like some weird kink. Franco said, wish CZ was Japanese. You can call him Al Kimono. I don't get it. Justin Sun is another noble crypto character. He's a weird one, man. Richard Hart is a king. Oh, Richard Hart takes the cake for sure, dude. I'm surprised he's still around, honestly, with how many people he's screwed. I'm starting to see more and more people come out the woodwork and talk about their experience with Pulse and all the other Richard Hart bullshit. I don't even remember the original one. What was the Hex and Pulse? And I think he has a third one now. You know, maximum value extraction. 88 said we're just talking about wealth, right? If he owns all the Tron tokens, probably makes him wealthy. Oh, no, he has money for sure. Hart is number one, you're right. Okay. Anyways, DXY, 100.193. Franco's here. Franco knows anime. I came across a quote of animes that I wrote down in a notebook the other day, Franco. So this was like years old, you know. It literally says, if the dollar goes high, Bitcoin gonna die. And I was like, wow, that's actually happening right now. History does repeat. Can confirm. Anyways, DXY going up. Easy button for investments going down. Dow Jones still below 50,000. 45,166 on the current price. The fractal is failing. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. See how far we can go. Are we going to get a bounce around 42, or are we going to end up going all the way down to 40 from 50? That's a 20% drop. That's crazy. That is bear market territory, though, so let's see if it happens. Nasdaq down 2.59% on the day, currently trading at 23.69. Nasdaq not necessarily following the fractal. The fractal, well, actually, if we scoot it, you can always scoot a fractal. You know what I mean? There's a metaphor in there somewhere, a beautiful metaphor. Let's see if this thing goes down. I guess if we hold 23, that would be awesome, but it doesn't seem, it seems like momentum is just picking up, especially if we're going to get boots on the ground in Iran. We're probably going down to 20. In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, though. If it doesn't dump that fast, great. We're looking at psychological levels. Right now, we're at 23. Look at 22.75, 22.5, 22.25, and then 22. We'll see what plays out. It is incredibly oversold on the 4-hour time frame, though, so keep an eye out on that for sure. S&P is officially at the bottom of the fractal, the most recent Doom fractal. This is not an ass fractal. This is son of ass fractal, I would call it. 64.40 broke immediately, no hesitation. We're at 63.68. Is 63 going to hold? It's kind of arbitrary. I guess let's see if we get to 6K. What is our 20% pullback, which is a technical bear market, would be 5,600. Are we going there? And if we are, how fast is it going to be? That's a great question. Ooh, let's extend this. What is this going to? I quite like this, actually. We got resistance, support, support, support. A little fake out below it. Are we going to get a bounce off that? That lines up perfectly with 6K. That actually looks really nice. Let's see if 6K comes into play. 88 said Hart is #1. You're right. Franco said, LOL, have you ever seen Richard Hart's talk interview, his compound with all the spinning watches behind him? No. I heard him talk about how his house was stolen from him in Panama, though, which literally made me, like, spit out my drink. I don't know. How emasculated are you when someone literally steals your house? How would you have a house stolen from you? As a man, a living, breathing man, how do you allow somebody to steal a home from you? More like Richard Fart. Am I right? Okay. Nvidia's down 2.17%. This thing started to dump pretty hard. It's 166.56. We're still kind of in the zone, though. Are we going to curl over, and is everyone going to freak out about the AI bubble popping? I don't want to take a fractal, but if you look, you get like some bleed sideways and an eventual curl down. Kind of doing that right now. Bleed sideways. Are we going to get a curl down? Maybe bounce off of like 150, 140, 130. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It does also look like incredibly oversold in the 4-hour time frame here as well, though. So something to keep an eye on. Let's go to the daily really quick. Is the daily oversold? Not yet. You see, there's plenty of room down for the daily, so who knows? Tesla. Oh, I'm on a 3-hour time frame. That's weird. Tesla also taking a hit, 360.5. Last time we bounced off of this level. Let's see if we end up going to 350. 322 is on the chart for some reason. We got, I don't know, maybe a couple bounces. It seems kind of arbitrary. Back here, resistance, support. Yeah, maybe 322 is the level. Keep an eye on it. I'm not really sold on Tesla at the moment. It's pretty decent price right now. They're doing a lot of cool things. I don't even know. I kind of get like disassociated between Tesla and anything else Elon does. I just assume that they're all the same, but they're really not. The SpaceX XAI IPO might steal out of thunder. We do got a confirmed green dot here in the 4-hour. I think that played out already though. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. The reason it's called Big B Coffee is because Michael Saylor's great grandmother actually started. It used to be called. I don't know if you guys know, but this actually used to be called Beaner's Coffee. That is like actual real information. I don't know why they changed it. I can't imagine why they changed it. But Saylor's great grandma helped design the logo. And he was like, Grandma, can I have your blessing to take the logo? She's still alive. She's like 112. And she was like, yes! And so he took the logo and he put the lines on it. And now it's the Bitcoin B for MicroStrategy for some reason. Very cool. 125.68 in the current price. Are we going to break 125 and head to 100? Hopefully not, but we'll see. We do have this support line. Previous resistance turned support. This is technically the first time we've tested this level since we broke out of it. So maybe it's a super duper like super cycle flag that we broke out and we're retesting. 125. If we break below 125, then it could get a little dicey, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's been pretty dicey to begin with, so. And Bitcoin. Bitcoin's chilling. 66.154. ETH down 0.21% on the day. Struggling with 1988. Are we going to lose 2K for good? Or is this a little fake out before the mommy makeout? We got a green dot of the momentum wave point to the upside. We are oversold in the 4-hour time frame. Something to keep in mind for sure. Yeah, let's see if we get back above 2K. These candles are not very promising. That does not really make me bullish. That looks like nobody cares. That's what that looks like to me. Solana, down 0.72%. Currently sitting at 82.51. Are we going to see single-digit SOL? That's going to be the next poll. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 votes. I'm going to end it. I asked you guys, when do we see an end to the conflict in Iran? 38% of you guys said sometime in April. 24% said May for sure. 25% said Q3 or Q4. 13% said soon this month. We got a total of 8 votes. Appreciate you guys. Poll number 2. Do we see single-digit SOL before we bottom? Do we see single-digit Solana before the next bull market. Yes, it's going down fast. No way it goes that low. Yes, everything is down bad. Or no, too many users / too much revenue. I'm just going to say many users / too much revenue. All right. Everything is going down bad. Yes, it's going down fast. I'm just going to say for the first one, yes, too many scams. Bad press. All right. Start poll. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do we see single-digit Solana before the next bull market? Your options are yes, too many scams / bad press. No way it goes that low. Yes, everything is going down bad. Or no, many users / too much revenue. Let me know what you guys think. What's going on, G Immortal? Franco said Richard Hart got his house taken in Panama. That's why it's dangerous as an American to take up residence in other countries. You don't have as many rights in other places as you do here. No, see, he didn't know that he's an idiot. He went there, and you only own the home if you have the papers in your hands. And he was raided by the police. They probably wanted bribes or something like that. He got raided by the police, and he probably had a bunch of illegal stuff. He's a scammer. So they stole his house, which cracks me up. But they came in, allegedly, according to him, at gunpoint, and they asked him for his papers. They're like, do you own this home? Where's your paperwork? And he gave it to them, and they were like, okay, I own this home now. Get out, or I'm going to shoot you. And they stole all of his stuff. And I think that's really funny, because he's a thief, allegedly. G Immortal said, what was Trump's speech about? No price action? I don't know. Probably the stupid OnlyFarms, farmersonly.com dating site, and the White House George Orwell 1984 surveillance app that you can download now. But let's actually go see. Trump speech. It's probably in the news segment. President Trump dances after delivering speech. That son of a bitch. All right, let's see. Do we got to get to the news segment? I think it's time for the news segment, right? There isn't really much going on in the charts, to be completely honest. We got weekend set up for everything. It's all going to be boring. Ondo is taking a big fat dump, though. It got a little excited for a minute. Now, it's got to take a breather. Good volume, though. Look at the volume. Beautiful. That's what you like to see. You want to see the volume increase into a pump. That's the most important thing, I think. Besides the price increasing. In order to see a pump, you have to see the price increase. I'm just going to start saying stuff like that with a straight face. How many people are going to be like, that guy's an idiot. He just says things that are factual. I'm like, yeah. All right, news segment. We've got Senator Elizabeth Warren says she has questions for Mr. Beast over his cryptocurrency plans following banking app acquisition. That's too damn bad, Senator Elizabeth Warren. I got questions for literally all the money that you waste, lady, including the rest of the government. Bitcoin falls under $66,000. Number go down. We have reclaimed since 66,188 current level. Very nice. Russia bans gasoline exports starting April 1st. April Fool's. Very cool. Brent crude oil surges to $110, rising over 6% today. Surprise, surprise. $2 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market this week. That's a lot of dollars. President Trump says Bitcoin is very powerful. So many people now want to pay you in crypto. Very cool. Thank you, President Donald Trump. Marty Party posted stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana. Rolling 30-day 8 billion. Rolling 7-day 2 billion. That's a lot of billions. This cracked me up. Marty Party has joined the fray. Most annoying person on this platform, Benjamin Cowan. I'm I'm going to go for the middle one. Damn it. Son of a bitch. All right. Breaking. The U.S. is considering Jesus, that was morbid. Accidentally. Wow. Sending up to 10,000 additional ground troops to the Middle East to give President Trump more military options, per Wall Street Journal. Can the president authorize, like, ground troops? I thought that he needed congressional approval for a war. Is troops on the ground not an act of war? Am I crazy? It just seems silly. Like, forgive me. We're gonna go conspiracy for a minute. Let me get I gotta reach behind the bar. Hang on. Gotta go tinfoil. You need congressional approval for a war. You want to go to war. Theoretically. You put troops in a spot really close to the bad guy that you want to invade. And you tell everyone, you're like, I have troops right here. This is where the troops are. Do not shoot and kill my troops right here. And then the troops get shot and killed. And you're like, oh, son of a bitch. We have to go to war to revenge the troops. It kind of seems like that's what's happening. And I think that's disgusting. That's just my 2 cents. If American troops die because of some dumbass bullshit like that, I personally think an impeachment is in order, at the very least. But I'll stop there. Bitcoin, 66,165. If that does happen, midterms are lost for the Republicans 1,000%, and the next president's probably going to be a Democrat. I'm just saying. Okay. Details include these troops would be added to the 5,000 Marines and thousands of paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division. The force would likely include infantry and armored vehicles. It is unclear where precisely forces will go into the Middle East, but they will likely be within striking distance of Iran and Karg Island. Trump continues to state he will open the Strait of Hormuz with or without the help from allies. U.S. oil prices are back to $94 a barrel. Wow. I'm curious. I'm wondering if maybe whoever we're negotiating with is going to give us control of the strait by, like, allowing troops on the coast. I don't know. That's a stretch. A little copium stretch. Saeed said, move a little back. Let's see your exact height. I'm average. Literally like the global average. I'm the global average. Alright. Breaking, the Nasdaq 100 has now traded below its all-time high for 100 days, the longest streak since 2023. At the same time, the index is trading less than 10% off the peak, the 6th time this pattern has occurred since 1985. In the previous 5 instances, the Nasdaq 100 was either flat or positive 80% of the time 1 month later, with an average gain of 1.1%. 2 months later, the average return was 2.3% with 80% positive outcomes. After 12 months, the index was higher 100% of the time with an average gain of 17%. History suggests technology stocks are set to recover soon. And let's hope so. The helium situation is also mildly concerning. It's funny, though, like the world economy doesn't seem to be reflecting the detrimental, state of all of the shortages that this is going to cause. And that has me a little suspicious as to whether or not this is just like overblown FUD. Are institutions about to rotate back into stocks? This is actually important. U.S. pension funds are estimated to purchase $13.8 billion of U.S. equities by the quarter end, according to Goldman Sachs. This is larger than 97% of all monthly purchases over the last 3 years and 93% since January 2000. By comparison, pension funds have sold an average of $1.8 billion per month since 2000, while the all-time high purchase was $80.6 billion during the 2020 pandemic. This comes as U.S. pension funds are set to rebalance from bonds to equities to maintain target allocations after the recent decline in stocks. As a consequence, an equivalent amount of bonds will be sold to fund the purchase. Equities are set for large inflows. Interesting stuff. U.S. oil prices surge above $97 a barrel as market prices out peace talks within the Iran war. The IRGC says that the Strait of Hormuz is closed and any transit through the waterway will face harsh measures. 3 container ships of various nationalities were just turned back from the Strait of Hormuz after warnings from the IRGC Navy media reports. At least they're not just blowing them right up. I gotta say, I would be very upset if I just went through and I was exploded. That would suck. So they're like, hey, listen, we're not letting you through. If you want to get blown up, you can proceed, but you should turn around. They're giving them a chance to turn around. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Because I'm just a stupid ship captain. Can I please not die for this bullcrap? You know what I mean? U.S. bond market is in a major trouble today. Just hours after President Trump's 10-day pause of strikes on Iranian power plants, yields are at the highest level of the Iran war yet. The 10-year note yield is up to 4.47%, with mortgage rates hitting a fresh 7-month highs. In less than 1 month, markets have gone from discussing rate cuts to rate hikes, with the base case showing a Fed pause for the next 18 months. Keep in mind, the Fed was cutting interest rates because the labor market was weak and it remains weak. However, inflation expectations have just become an even bigger problem than the labor market. This is objectively unsustainable. Let's actually go look at the 10-year. 4.42. Okay, they knocked it down again somehow, magically. If this gets to 4.5, I think that some major intervention is going to happen from the president, for sure. Oh my gosh, when did that happen? 2025? January 25? That is crazy. What the hell happened then? We got to 5% in 23? What the heck was the Biden administration doing? It's ridiculous. All right. We're on the 4 hour. Okay. Back to Bitcoin. 66,127 and 2 cents. Let's see. Adam Kobayashi himself, 12 hours later, and the U.S. 2-year note yield is up to 4%, now up nearly 60 basis points since the Iran war began, moving in a literal straight line higher. Inflation expectations have become so bad that the market is trading like an emergency Fed rate hike is imminent. If you haven't read our analysis below, you should do so now. Without intervention, the bond market is nearing a full-blown crisis. Are we going to place a bet on Kalshi for a rate hike within the next month or so? Absolutely. Oh, are we good? Are we good? I think we're good. Cheers, guys. Did you guys see the show? All right, let's check. Sign up for Kalshi if you want. All right, yesterday's fear and greed on CoinMarketCap was 23. Today's 23, allegedly. That's still confusing to me, man. I don't know if the yesterday part works on this. Top 10 looks the same as it did yesterday. I still can't believe Solana's at number 7. That kind of blows my mind. XRP versus BNB is interesting. CoinGlass Fear and Greed is at 11, which is still extreme fear. And the stock market Fear and Greed is at 10, which is also extreme fear. 88 said, what return you aim for with the long-term portfolio annually? I guess I'm not picky, especially if we're going to a freaking recession. I would like to at least see a return. If it's negative, I'm going to be a little bit butthurt. I don't think I've had a negative annual return yet. Like long term. Well, that's a complete lie. That is a lie. I lied. I just lied to you. I don't know how negative my returns were in the past. I have not had a negative annual return maybe since 22. Was a decent return you lock in for 5 years? That's a great question. I've barely been investing for 5 years. But I will say I'm more comfortable now financially than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm not making a ridiculously large amount of money, but I have savings, I have investments, and I could technically take a considerably large amount of time off work and still be completely comfortable. And I feel like that's really important. It's weird. It's weird when you don't have to worry about paycheck to paycheck. It's very weird. But you can do it, man. You can do it. It's crazy. I'm like poverty level. Slowly but surely climbing out of it, but it feels so good, dude. It feels so good. I think quitting smoking was my biggest financial win. Savings are invested, no? Well, I have dry powder. I have money, emergency fund money. I have investments, funds There's like liquid and illiquid. It's all over the place. But it feels good, dude. It feels so good. Bitcoin's got a little red candle here, 66,140. Is that going to flip green, or are we going to continue to go the way of the progress in the Middle East? Down. 88 said, I'm asking for example, do you hold a maintain investment like SP or QQQ, etc.? No. I'm not that in depth yet with my stock portfolio. I would like to be. It's very random right now. I definitely should just dollar cost average into the S&P 500. Like, would you buy a 5-year bond for 4%? I have not gotten into bonds yet. After 5, no, I would not. No, because the average annual return of the S&P 500 of like all time is like 10%. So I think it'd be silly to settle for 4% over the course of 5 years. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though. I'm not a financial advisor. If you guys are interested at all, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins audiobook is completely free if you have Amazon Prime and Audible. Highly recommend. It's kind of redundant. You could probably listen to like the first hour and understand everything for the entire book just in the first hour. But he explains in investing into indexes and the average annual return and how long it would take for you to be a millionaire. The 4% zero risk. Yeah, but there's really no risk with the S&P 500. When has the S&P 500 gone down for a considerable period of time? If we enter a recession, then sure, I will buy bonds for sure. But the J.L. Collins, the 3 main points, and this blew my mind. This is actually what inspired me to go seek out his book, by the way. I don't know the guy that much. I'm not obsessed with him. I don't have a tattoo on my butt. But I respect him. And it's really interesting when you look at it, the way that he explains it. Investing is not meant to be this sexy thing, you know. It's not gambling. You're not going to get rich quick. It's not day trading. It's just investing. And the way that people build wealth, the easy way, is the boring, not sexy way. Avoid debt, live on less than what you earn, and invest the surplus. It is literally that simple. Now, the foundation of all of that is having a job. It does not have to be a well-paying job. It just has to be a job. And if you're like, well, I can't afford rent, you got to figure out either go somewhere where you can't afford rent. And, you know, I'm minimizing everything. I'm not, you know, people are in certain situations and whatever. The bottom line is make sure you have a job that pays you enough so you can have some extra money at the end of every single week. And yes, there's those dumb responses like, well, don't buy Starbucks. I don't buy fast food at all. Like once a month, I might get Wendy's or something just for fun. But I don't buy, like I brew my coffee every morning. Any drinks that I have, I like make them myself. Anything like that. Like I don't go out, man. And I saved so much money from that. Quitting smoking was the biggest financial win for me. Jay Shear said, sup family, how is our boy Harambe? Let's actually go look. I got another alert today. I don't know why I have so many racked up in the same month. We are dollar cost averaging into Harambe. His death anniversary is in May. And the price tends to pump prior to that. Where are my buys? Oh, we're on market cap. That's what it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it has dropped a little bit. Might be a decent time to DCA. This is a total Hail Mary gamble. Not financial advice. I'm not advising any of you guys to do this. It's just for fun. But his death anniversary is approaching, and there's always a lot of internet traffic around Harambe around his death anniversary. So leading into that, we're probably gonna ladder out. But it's a little fun gamble for now. Giovanni said, always risk even in bonds, and if you don't need the money for 10 plus years, even bonds don't make sense. Or then bonds don't make sense. 88 said, the biggest gains beside my rentals going up was compounding SP over 20 years. That's what I mean. That's exactly what it is. So the S&P 500, we did the math with Grok. With the average annual return, assuming we're not entering a recession right now, if you started dollar cost averaging $100 a week, every single week, I think it would take like 25 years and you would have $1 million. That's huge. 88. Yeah, we just read that. Saeed said, please teach us from his book. I mean, one concept from his book daily. There's not that many concepts, actually. I pretty much went through it. He talks about index funds and the average annual return. And if you invest in those consistently, then you will become a millionaire. And it takes 10, 15, 20 years. But imagine 20 years ago, if you had started putting $100 into the S&P 500 and you suddenly look today, right now, and you have like $650, $750, $850,000. I'm just saying, that's huge. But the main points: avoid debt, live on less than what you earn, and invest the surplus. In that foundation, let's say you make $2,000 a month. What's the average? I think we did this before. Average annual salary in America is $65,500. So $65,500. There's 50. How many weeks is there in a year? 52? Yeah, there's 52 weeks in a year. So 65,500 divided by 52. That's $1,259 a week. So times 4. That's about $5,000 a month. So let's say you make $5,000 a month. Let's do this even better. Let's go $4,000 a month. You got to make sure you're not spending $4,000 a month. And it sounds so simple, but you really got to sit down and you're like, how much money am I spending on Netflix, Hulu, Disney, HBO Max? Figure all that out. My cell phone bill, eating out. Keep all your receipts for 1 month. Be very average with it. 1 month. Figure out how much you're spending. Figure out how much you make. If you go, oh shit, I spent $6,000 this month and I only made $4,000. That means I overspent by $2,000, which means you either took on debt or you spent out of your savings. Those are both big no-nos. So you got to figure that out. Balance your budget. Invest your surplus. Avoid debt. The Nedrek said, yay, what's going on, Nedrek? Happy Friday, guys. Appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to smash the like button. Share the stream if you can. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers at some point in the near future. Mr. Roberts said, hey, JJ. Hello, good peeps. What's going on, Mr. Roberts? 88 said, JJ, I can assure you, he 100% correct. SP and NAS 100 will make... Oh, no, I'm not... So the Nasdaq, or the S&P 500 thing, we did the math with Grok for the 25 years thing. And the whole idea was based on J.L. Collins talking about... I don't remember. His is like the Vanguard total stock market index or something like that. But it's the same concept. 10%, 11% annually on average, and invest in that as much as you can every single week. That's it. Instead of living paycheck to paycheck, invest paycheck to paycheck. Okay, back to the news segment. U.S. intelligence has determined that just around 33% of Iran's missile arsenal has been destroyed as the Iran war nears its 1-month mark, per Reuters. Details include the intelligence assessment shows Iran still has significant missile inventory. The status of around another third is less clear, but bombings likely damaged, destroyed, or buried those missiles in underground tunnels and bunkers. Sources say U.S. intelligence was similar for Iran's drone capability. Iran is expected to recover some buried or damaged missiles once fighting stops. Tomorrow is the 1-month mark of the war. We were told it was only going to last a month, weren't we? 4 weeks. 88 said, like they always say, time in the market rather than timing the market, 100%. I still do everything, man. I will always do everything. It's kind of like I diversify my investments in the way of like what I'm investing in, but I also diversify my investing styles as well. I dollar cost average. I do gamble. I enjoy gambling. I don't let it get out of hand, though. If I buy a scratch off or a lottery ticket, it's like once a month, if that. And that's really pushing it. But I like Kalshi. Kalshi's fun. Prediction markets. That's very rare as well. And trading. BitUnix. Link in the description if you guys want to check it out. It is gambling, though. Treat it like gambling. Do not lose money. Or try not to lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. But when I play on BitUnix with leverage, it's less than 1% of my overall investments every single time. Now, we've learned the compounding thing. I've learned that it was stupid of me to take profits from my stupid trading portfolio. I should have just kept it in there and let it compound. Figured that out. If you have $50 and you make, I think it was 185% trades, you would have, what would I say, like $300,000? Ridiculously large amount of money. It's crazy. Compounding is your best friend. Bitcoin catching a little bit of relief here, 66,220. Russian oil producers are warning buyers about possible force majeure on oil supplies as Baltic ports face new Ukrainian drone attacks. 40% of Russia's oil export capacity is about to come to a halt amid drone strikes. Asia's energy crisis is about to accelerate. Trump, I think, pushed his meeting with Xi Jinping into May, so I'm suspecting all of this conflict in the Middle East to continue throughout at least a good portion of April. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's just my guess. The Nasdaq 100 is now officially in correction territory, down 10% from its October 2025 high. The Department of Justice says FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email has been breached by hackers. That's hilarious. The Fed's worst nightmare is materializing in front of our eyes. What is often overlooked is that the Fed primarily controls demand-side inflation, not supply-side inflation. In other words, it can influence how much people borrow and spend, but it cannot directly increase supply like producing more oil. This means that in the case of a supply shock, as we are seeing now with the energy prices, the Fed often has to overcompensate on the demand side to contain inflation and vice versa. During the pandemic in 2020, this meant effectively cutting rates to zero as lockdowns triggered a sharp collapse in demand alongside widespread supply disruptions. You know what's really weird during the pandemic? I work in a job that's kind of like carpentry, like property development. So it's like landscaping, building. We've done room additions. I've done retaining walls, like you name it. Indoor, outdoor, everything, construction. And you'd think that would be the first thing, like the pandemic happens, nobody's going to work. You're like, we're not going to add on to the house. We're not going to make the front yard look pretty. We're not going to build that deck, you know. But we got so much work during the pandemic. It's crazy. I've kind of boiled it down to people were home. So they were like, our backyard kind of looks like shit. We should have something done about that. Or like, we should work on that room addition now that we're home all the time. Want to redo the kitchen? You know. That's what I've equated to, but it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, everyone's talking. I'm like, shit, I'm totally going to be screwed out of a job. Because who the hell is going to get landscaping or carpentry done during a pandemic? Everyone's going to cut all that stuff out, only the necessities. And the exact opposite happened. 88 said, here in Canada, we have a TFSA, tax-free savings account, up to $7,000 a year. Any gains made in that account are tax-free. That's actually awesome. I've always considered myself something of a Canadian, living in Michigan. Actually, the 50% of me that's French is actually French-Canadian, so oui. It's the number one mistake people make, taking equity out their house to do useless renovations. You watch your mouth. All right. During the pandemic in 2020, it meant effectively cutting interest rates to zero as lockdowns triggered a sharp collapse in demand alongside widespread supply disruptions. With oil and gas prices skyrocketing, our models suggest U.S. CPI inflation is set to rise toward 3.5% or 150 basis points. Above the Fed's long-run target in a vacuum chamber, this means the Fed should tighten policy and theoretically hike rates. Interesting. However, the issue becomes the fact that the U.S. labor market is objectively at its weakest point in years, and it has not improved despite recent Fed easing. Therefore, if the Fed hikes rates now, the U.S. is positioning itself for a full-blown labor market crisis. On the flip side, if the Fed does not tighten its policy stance, U.S. CPI inflation could potentially now exceed 4%. Depending on how long the Iran war persists and how long the post-war recovery takes, in a sudden turn of events, the Fed is now forced to pick between 3.5% plus inflation or 5% plus unemployment. The Fed is in a very bad spot. And unfortunately for Powell, I'm going to come out and say that he's to blame for this particular situation because he took so long to cut rates. We could have had everything like eased out, and then they're like, uh-oh, we're going to war and there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Let's raise rates. But now they can't do that. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I think I think Powell is a douchebag. I do thoroughly enjoy the childish potty humor when Trump is like, he's a big dumb idiot. That just makes me happy. It's silly to have a president calling somebody like elementary school insults. Makes me feel extra American. Breaking. Russia has agreed to further increase crude oil sales to India, now set to double from January's levels to 40+% of India's total imports per Reuters. Just 2 months ago, President Trump alleviated tariffs on India in a deal for the country to stop buying Russian oil. Today, the U.S. is rolling back sanctions on Russian oil, and India is set to buy more oil from Russia than ever. Asia is scrambling for oil and gas. That's spooky, man. That's spooky stuff. Breaking. Iran-linked hackers were behind the hack of FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email per Reuters. Details include Iran-linked Handala hack team has now publicly claimed the breach. Hackers published photographs of Kash Patel and his purported resume. A sample of the material uploaded by the hackers and reviewed by Reuters appears to show a mix of personal and work correspondence dating between 2010 and 2019. The hackers published a statement saying Patel will now find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. A Department of Justice official has said the material published by the hacker group appears authentic. You know what's really funny? I saw a handful of that. He's the most normal dude on the planet, and it's just really funny to me. Like, it was just a bunch of pictures of him, like, at work or, like, at home, like, hanging out and having a good time. And I'm like, damn, they got his ass. And he's just, like, a normal dude. He's, like, the most normal dude. Probably the most normal dude in politics, too. Saeed said, it's morning over here. We feel fresh with your jokes. Appreciate that, Saeed. Did anyone watch my Trump video? Saturday and Sunday, Indian market is closed. Yeah, same here. We got crypto, though. Crypto's 24 hours, so we get to feel the pain whenever Trump does something stupid on the weekend. The U.S. Federal Reserve is now no longer expected to cut interest rates in December 2027. Until December 2027, there is now a 51% chance of an interest rate hike by March 2027. Rate hikes are now more likely than rate cuts. How did we end up here? Dang. Breaking. President Trump and top White House officials have been told that Iran's counter-proposal to the U.S. peace proposal will be released today per CBS News. Turn on our post notifications at KBSE for Iran's response in real time with our analysis. Gold prices extend gains to plus 4% on the day, rising above $45.50 an ounce, and silver prices extend gains to 5% on the day, rising above $71 an ounce. Gold and silver have added $1.3 trillion in market cap today. Let's go. It's about damn time, dude. Saeed said, I really learn and enjoy your stream. I appreciate that, Saeed. Thank you so much. Spread the word, man. Let's get those, let's get that subscriber count up. We believe this weekend is a crucial pivot point in the Iran war. As the bond market continues to get crushed, the 10-year note yield just hit a new high of 4.48% for the first time since the Iran war began. The bond market is nearing or already in crisis territory. U.S. officials are now saying they expect Iran's counter to President Trump's 15-point peace plan today, just hours after President Trump's 10-day delay of strikes on Iranian power plants failed to calm both bond and energy markets. If there is not progress made on peace talks and the resolution to the ongoing energy and bond market crisis by the futures open on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will see the 10-year note yield above 4.5% next week. And if this drags on for another month, a 5% plus yield on the 10-year note is coming next. President Trump knows this, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent knows this, and the Fed knows this. We expect a highly eventful weekend ahead. 88 Metals said, I just about unsubbed after the French-Canadian thing. Oh, man. Iran issues a warning for U.S. and Israeli-linked industrial companies in the region to evacuate their workplaces. Iran also issues a warning for strikes on steel plants in the Gulf and Israel following U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian steelmakers this morning. It's official, U.S. gas prices are now up $1 a gallon since the Iran war began. It's up more than that here, with mortgage rates nearing 6.5%, a 7-month high. At the current pace, we could see gas prices at $4.50 plus per gallon and 7% mortgages as soon as next month. JJ, what you taking your coffee? Cream and sugar. Double. German Chancellor Merz comments on the Iran war just 24 hours after President Trump says it was a test for NATO. The U.S. and Israel have no clear strategy on what they want. Damn. My guy's out here with the Karg Island on top of us. Oh, God. That might be the meanest thing I've ever said. Oh, shit. Bald people are allowed to insult other bald people, okay? Look at that. Dude, just shave that patch, bro. What are you doing, man? Get it laser removed so it don't grow back. Oh, my gosh. That's funny. That's funny. Breaking, the S&P 500 officially falls below 6,400 for the first time since September 2025. This puts the S&P 500 just 90 points away from entering correction territory. Crazy stuff. U.S. oil prices surge above 99 a barrel, now up 18% since Monday's low. The S&P 500 is just 60 points away from entering correction territory. The S&P 500 has now erased $4.5 trillion in market cap since the Iran war began on February 28th. That's a lot of dollars. Iran's foreign minister, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, says Israel has struck two of Iran's largest steel facilities, a power plant, and civilian nuclear sites in coordination with the U.S. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto says this contradicts President Trump's 10-day pause of strikes on Iranian power plants. Iran will exact a heavy price, he says. I don't know what that means. U.S. oil price surge above $100 a barrel after Iran says Israel has struck Iranian power plants. That was 7 hours ago. Qatar has declared force majeure on LNG contracts through May 2026, canceling obligations to customers in Italy, Belgium, South Korea, and China. Qatar is one of the world's largest LNG suppliers, accounting for 20% of global liquefied natural gas production. Breaking, as U.S. oil prices rise above $100 a barrel, our models indicate that if current levels are sustained another 2 months, U.S. CPI inflation will rise about 3.3%. This would put U.S. inflation at its highest level since May 2024. If liquefied natural gas is going to be unattainable, we should buy stock in little fireplace manufacturers. 88 said 6.5%, 30 years, a lot, eh? We don't have 30-year mortgages here. You can get a 5-year locked for 3.8%-ish currently. What? You guys don't have 30-year mortgages? How do you buy houses? Are your houses cheap, at least? That sounds terrifying. You gotta pay for a whole ass house in 5 years? Do you guys get paid good money? That's confusing. Wow. 5-year lock for 3.8% currently. 5 years. What? How do you buy a house? You gotta make $500,000 a year. Damn. Canada's not fucking around. You get a 20-year term, but the mortgages renew on terms. Oh. Okay. Qatar, yep, we read that. U.S. oil prices rise above $100 a barrel. Our models indicate that if current levels are sustained another 2... Okay, we read that, yeah. This would put U.S. inflation at its highest level since May 2024. Like variable 1 to 5 year of a locked 1 to 5 year. Okay, I get it. That's actually really nice. S&P 500 officially posts its lowest close in 232 days, erasing another $1 trillion of market cap today. This brings total S&P 500 losses since the Iran war began to $4.8 trillion. Damn. Oh, 30-year? Okay, so it's 30-year, but it's not fixed rate. It is variable rate every 1 to 5 years. That's sick. Dude, 3.8% is crazy. That I think I would love that. Iran on U.S. peace talk headlines. They've spammed so much fake news trying to push energy prices down that the market is just numb now. Keep going. Nobody is buying it anymore. The real prices will show up anyway. Powerful? Maybe, but smart? Not even close. Burned that fake news card way too early. Damn. We are ending the week with U.S. oil prices at $101 a barrel, the S&P 500 at a 232-day low, and the U.S. 10-year note yield at 4.4%. If the last 14 months have taught us anything, it is that the next 50 hours until the 6 p.m. Eastern Time futures open on Sunday are going to be a highly eventful. Trump must contain the bond market immediately. Turn our post notifications on. Very cool. Adam Kobiesi himself, President Trump has 50 free hours to contain the bond market. by the futures open on Sunday. If history is any guide, Trump and Bessent will be working overtime on the containment of the bond market this weekend. If not, things will get very ugly very fast. They're probably going to get very ugly very fast. Let's go check the current poll. Bitcoin getting red again, 66, 73, and 24 cents. Current poll. Oh, we got 5 votes, 100%. I don't know if we've ever had 100% agreement on a poll. I asked you guys, do we see single-digit Solana before the next bull market? 100% of you guys, 5 votes, said no way it goes that low. That's crazy. I don't think that many people have ever agreed on anything ever. Nobody said yes, too many scams, bad press. Nobody said yes, everything is going down bad. Nobody said no, many users, too much revenue. That's insane. Okay, start a poll. Let's see. Do you think we see some form of taco soon, as Trump can't maintain the bond market anymore? Yes, he'll claim victory soon. No, he's locked in right now. Yes, he has no choice but to back. But he has no choice to back off. Sure. Or no, he doesn't actually care. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Poll in the chat. Do you think we see some form of taco soon, as Trump can't maintain the bond market anymore? Yes, he'll claim victory soon. No, he's locked in right now. Yes, he has no choice to back off. No, he doesn't actually care. 88 said, mortgage terms and rates. U.S. mortgages offer 15, 30-year fixed rates, meaning the rate is locked for the entire life of the loan. Canadian mortgages are usually fixed for only 1 to 5 years with interest. Rates negotiated at the end of each term, exposing borrowers to rate fluctuations. In Canada, the amortization period is often 25 to 30 years, but the mortgage must be renewed multiple times. U.S. mortgages are generally amortized over 30 years, with the same rate until the mortgage is paid off or refinanced. Makes sense that way. Who wants to lock in for 30 years? I mean, if it's a 0%, it's a benefit, but how often has that happened? You know what I mean? More often than not, our entire economy is completely screwed in the trash and nobody gets anything until they're like retiring. Stupid. What a stupid country. Okay. Breaking. Yemen's Houthi group, an Iranian ally, says it's ready to intervene in the Iran war if new allies join the U.S. and Israel, or the Red Sea is used to launch attacks on Iran. The Houthis have strong influence over the Bab al-Mandab Strait, which controls over approximately 6 million barrels of daily oil supply. Total offline capacity between the Strait of Hormuz and al-Mandab would near 25 million barrels, or around 25% of global supply, if Bab al-Mandab is closed. Interesting. All right. President Trump just now on the Iran situation. Cuba is next. So does that mean that he's going to end Iran soon and then he's going to do Cuba the following weekend? Breaking. Total U.S. net call options volume is down to 10,000 contracts per day, the lowest since April 2025 sell-off. The 5-day moving average of calls minus puts have fallen 1.3 million contracts since February. This comes as put options trading has significantly outweighed calls since the Iran war began. By comparison, the April 2025 and August 2024 bottoms were 1.1 million and 750K, as put volume far exceeded calls. Options activity is rapidly shifting. Very cool. Truflation posted the final University of Michigan index consumer sentiment came in at 53.3, significantly below the preliminary 55.5 and February's 56.6. This marks the lowest reading since December 2025 and a 5.8% month-over-month decline, well under economists' expectations of 54. The deterioration was broad-based across all age groups, income levels, especially middle and higher income households, stock owners, and political affiliations. The index of consumer expectations dropped sharply, led by a around 14% decline in the short-run outlook component, while current economic condition also weakened. Key drivers, geopolitical shock. Gasoline prices. Year ahead personal finance expectations fell around 10%. 1 year ahead inflation expectations rose to 3.8%. Excuse me. Do you think this shift in consumer outlook will be short-lived? I think it depends on what happens in the Middle East. Peter Schiff says Bitcoin remains below its 2021 highs despite years of hype and so-called adoption. Gavin Newsom signs executive order banning California officials from using insider information to place bets, including on prediction markets. Wow, he's got a funky-looking smile. Update: Binance TradFi perpetuals top 130 billion in volume as traders flock to crypto exchanges for 24/7 gold and silver trading. Wow, really gold and silver trading? That's kind of funny. Maybe oil, gold and silver though. Doesn't look like they're trading it that much. Alert: U.S. gas prices have surged about $1 a gallon since the Iran war began, while mortgage rates approach 6.5%, a 7-month high. Strategy has bought 45,000 Bitcoin in the past 30 days, while other corporate buyers added just 1,000 Bitcoin, accounting for only 2% of treasury demand. Okay. 88 said, is paying off a refinance. Makes sense this way. Yep. I got some 2.1%, 10 years locked in on a few of the rentals. I think oil will stay higher longer than people think, even after the situation is resolved. Oh, I 100% agree. You know, it still peeves me so bad that prices at the pump are so high. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. Everyone's like, you don't know how oil markets work globally, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, allegedly we only use like 5% of our oil is from the Middle East. So if there's a 5% deficit all of a sudden, the price shouldn't double. I understand global, but why do I give a shit what people are paying for gas in Australia? You know what I mean? Maybe that's selfish. That's what I mean. It doesn't make sense. It drives me crazy. They're like, we only get 5%. I'm like, okay, why is my price at the pump doubled then, bro? And I know that they're bullshitting those stupid metrics. They're like, it's nearing $4. I'm like, it's like $4.20 where I live right now. And my gas price is always the last one to change. So I know they're full of crap. Globally, it's probably like $6. That post place that FBI director emails hacked. It's his personal email. Can someone make a Bloodsport Chong Li meme where it says Trump over his forehead, where Chong says, you are next, and it says Cuba over Ray's face? You could probably have, I was going to say ChatGPT, but they, they completely canned their AI image generator. You could have Grok make it for you. If it doesn't affect USA wire gas. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Fuck if I know. Just magically bombing our own gas supply, I guess. S&P 500 falls below 6,400 for the first time since September 2025. U.S. lawmakers unveiled a draft crypto tax bill proposing a stablecoin exemption for transactions under $200, but excluding any Bitcoin tax exemption. We need this small transaction tax exemption, I think. If it's being used as a currency, we shouldn't have to tax it. Google is nearing a deal to help finance a $5 billion plus Texas data center leased to Anthropic, expected to deliver 500 megawatt capacity by late 2026, according to the Financial Times. Very cool. Their logo still looks like a butthole to me. Markets now price a 52% chance of a Fed rate hike by the end of 2026, the first time above 50%, as benchmark crude tops 110 and inflation concerns grow. Nasdaq 100 drops 2%. European borrowing costs hit 15-year highs with German and French 10-year yields at their highest since 2011, as markets price potential European Central Bank rate hikes. S&P 500 erased $1 trillion in market value today. That's a lot of dollars. U.S. memory chip stocks have lost nearly $100 billion this week after Google research signaled easing AI demand. You know what they did? They made it so it doesn't take as much RAM for the AI to function. So like this thing that they built up, think of the automobile. Everyone suddenly invested all of their money in all the components for the Model T. Oh my gosh, did you see the Model T? It's this new thing. It's called an automobile. It's a carriage without a horse. They invested everything that they had into the Model T. And then the Dodge brothers came out and they're like, check this shit out. And it's something completely different. That's what Google just did to the AI market, or to the memory market, essentially. Cracks me up, dude. 88 said $6.89 per US gallon here. What? What do you look? I thought you said Canada, not California. Jeez, that's the price of gas in California before the war. Is anyone? Well, I forget. Was it Scary Movie or Epic Movie? It was one of the Wayans brothers movies, where they were making fun of War of the Worlds, and they're like in the news van, and the chick's like, "This is Detroit," and it shows like everything's on fire, there's sirens and shooting and stuff, and then she clicks a button, and the only thing that changes is there's like alien ships, and she goes, "This is Detroit after the attack," and it literally looked identical, except for the alien ships were suddenly there. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, dude, that joke kills me every time." You cannot be within like a 20-mile radius of the border of Metro Detroit without hearing a gunshot at least once a day. It's crazy. Okay, U.S. memory chip stocks, yeah, 100 billion. There you go. Google doing it again. Global public debt has surged to nearly 100% of GDP, approaching levels last seen during World War II. Wow. 21,700 Bitcoin from short-term holders hit exchanges in the past 24 hours, all sold at a loss. That sucks. Microsoft closes below its 200-week moving average for the first time in over 13 years. Wow, 13 years is crazy. An early Ethereum ICO participant sold 11,500 ETH for $23 million after buying 38,800 ETH in 2015 at approximately 31 cents, turning a $12,000 investment into roughly $80 million. So this guy waited 11 years. 11 years to, what did he do? 12K to 80 million? What even is that? 80 million. Divided by 12,000. 666x. What? So if we wait 11 years, we'll be perfect, dude. We will be so good. I will say though, jokes aside, that 11 years is half the time as the not so sexy $100 a week into the S&P 500, $10 average annual return, 25-year setup that we talked about earlier. Just saying. 88 said, "Well, that sure beat my S&P account. Ha ha ha. He would have doubled that if he sold it 4K-ish. Yeah, maybe he just set it and forget it, though, and he just signed out, and he's like, whoa, oh my gosh, Ethereum went up." I hope to be that guy one day. Cheers. Happy Friday, guys. DCA day. Delicious. Okay. Bitcoin is very powerful. So many people now want to pay you in crypto at Future Investment Initiative, says Trump. This is such a good movie. Tropic Thunder is going to be the movie of the day. POV investing in 2026. This is 100% accurate. Can confirm. 88 said found his seed phrase in an old sock in the back of the drawer. Right? He's like, oh my gosh, this is that Ethereum thing that I had. That's the dream, man. That's the dream. Stock Money Lizards posted timeline is obsessed right now with Bitcoin being at the same price it was in 2021. So what happened multiple times before? The key observation should be that we continued growth, higher bases, and explosive bull markets. Price in 2027 and 2030 will likely be 200K, and in 2033 and 2035, 500K. I actually agree with this. But still, you can't overlook the meme of, what is it, 5 years? Same price? Bitcoin, you must be able to do 3 things now to make it. 1, buy when others are selling. Sounds silly, but many can't. 2, spread entries and scale in. 3, accept and the temporary drawdowns of another 30 to 40% from your initial entry can happen. I've been using this indicator since 2020 to scale into long-term positions. It has not failed me ever since. Indicator WMA, I think weighted moving average 200 weekly, not financial advice. It actually looks really good. Let's do something really quick. Well, yeah, I guess Bitcoin dropped a little bit. let's check the Bitcoin rainbow chart. We are officially in Bitcoin is dead territory on the original rainbow, and on the 2023 updated Bitcoin rainbow chart, we have entered buy, and then next, I guess, is basically a fire sale. Crazy stuff. Bitcoin price $66,215. Yeah, we are in buy level. Fire sale is at 55K. So I guess what's the bottom? Is that 55K, that the bottom of that fire sale level? Maybe. Let's see if we get to that. The halving is in 2028. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now keep in mind, we hit an all-time high before the halving this time around, didn't we? Broke it into a new all-time high? Yes, we did. Halving was right here. New all-time high was right there. Just before. So it could happen again, maybe 2027. If we are in the proper, like, thing. Bookmark this. Yeah, that's my favorite. Every time, man. Every time. Alright. Stock money lizards. The trigger might be another escalation towards the weekend, where markets are closed. Bitcoin, as opposed to many stocks and other commodities, sort of front ran the big correction that may be coming. Max Pain low, mid 50Ks, up only thereafter. We'll see what happens. Trump, I want to thank the entire kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They fought. Trump, they have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Trump, the Middle East has transformed forever. It sounds like he's saying, I'm going to end the conflict soon things. Crypto Vergani, this is your warning. No Limit just said everything is going exactly as planned. Last time he said this, the market dropped another 20%. He is now the fastest growing account on X. You know what happens next. Wow. What happens next? What is this? What is this? Proposed sale, transaction, sales. Oh, a bunch of people selling stuff. Wow. Yeah. Yep. 5 trillion wiped out. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. All right. Next, Crypto Fergani again. Bitcoin. Oh boy, this is a mouthful. Bitcoin is at 300,000 without a bull run. Solana above 1,500. BNB, XRP, ETH, Doge, all gig ascending. 1 to 2 years from now, everything looks obvious. Trump was bullish on crypto. BlackRock was buying. Institutions were loading. Retail was completely out. Everyone was calling for a bear market. Fear was max. Every signal was there. But you didn't act. They shook you out. They made you sell, and then they sent it. Right now is that same moment. You still have a chance. Buy Bitcoin, buy alts, load your bags. A year from now, you'll say, it was so obvious in hindsight. Your future self will thank you. This is your chance right here. This is why only 1% get rich, because it's never easy to hold. If it were easy, everyone would be rich. You know what I think it is? Do we do fireside for this? I bet you a good majority of people that get rich, that like maintain that 1% level, end up deceased shortly thereafter. And it's morbid, so I apologize, it is morbid. But how many people get filthy rich and then just like overindulge in like substances? You know what I mean? You suddenly don't have to work ever again, and you're like, oh, I really enjoyed those pills, so, you know. Food for thought. Let's continue, though. All right, your future self will thank you. This is your chance right here. This is why only 1% get rich, because it's never easy to hold. If it were easy, everyone would be rich. Yeah, man, let's see what happens. Can you imagine $973,000 Bitcoin? Wow. Why is X-Men trending? Kalshi posted 80% chance Bitcoin falls below 60K. I would not be surprised if that happened. Reflection posted the ugly truth no one wants to hear. 2021 Bitcoin 67,153. 2026 Bitcoin 65,981. That is a 5-year gap, by the way. Ethereum, same price. Solana, down $50. Almost, what is that, 33%? That's crazy. 88 Metals Mania said, well, I think it's more instant in-hand money that does that, i.e. lottery winners, etc. That's fair. People that earn it probably have a better rate of not going insane. Yeah, that's probably true. I think about it all the time. Like, how many weirdly, like, overly eccentric millionaires are there? Probably so many, dude. Why is the market dumping? Bitcoin just dropped below. We got Ash Crypto in the house, by the way. Bitcoin just dropped below 66,000 while alts are bleeding. 1. No ceasefire. U.S. is still attacking Iran. Iran is still stopping ships. Uncertainty is only increasing. And when that happens, risk assets suffer. 2. Bond market crisis. Japan bond yields are hitting new highs. U.S. long-term bond yields are soaring. MOVE index is going higher. This is because of rising inflation expectations due to energy crisis, and markets hate this. Hawkish Fed. 3. The market now expects no rate cuts in 2026. Rate hike odds in 2026 have surged to 48.6%. This means market is now expecting a hawkish Fed. A hawkish Fed is bad for risk on assets as it drains liquidity from the market. My thoughts? I'm paying attention to Trump's language here. Yesterday he said the stock market hasn't come down a lot. This means he isn't worried so much about the stock market. Once his tone changes to undervalued market or a best time to buy, a reversal could happen. Yeah, he's probably going to tell us. I'm not going to lie. 88 said... That was distracting. 88 said, seems kids that are born into money have issues, or kids that make a lot grow up to be weirdos. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Symbiote posted, Bitcoin cycles pattern is repeating. 2015 to 2017 bull, 35 months. 2017 to 2018 bear, 12 months. 2018-21 bull, 35. 21-22 bear, 12. 22-25 bull, 35. 26-27 bear, we are here. Started in October. Is it going to end in October? Just like this gentleman said, it would be October 5th, 2025 would be the Pico low. Everyone that says the same thing is literally plagiarizing off of an anonymous 4chan post from 2023. So don't let them try to pawn it off on you like it's their original idea. Drives me crazy. Merlin the Trader posted, nobody believed in 2021 either. 4 bases, parabolic curve, sell point. 2025 printed the same setup, same sell signal, already minus 50% from the top. 60K holds or it doesn't. The curve doesn't negotiate. Honestly, if 60K held, that would be pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. Sarah Milady posted, Bitcoin is going to 200K. ETH will break 10K. Sol will reach $800. Altcoins will pump 10 to 100x. Patience. I kind of like the post. I kind of like it. In fact, I did like it. Just now. Bam. You witnessed it here first. Next, we've got Jow Wedson. This is a new feature in the news segment. Stumbled upon his post. In the news segment, like the tabs that I go through, I do basic like Bitcoin and altcoin searches, which is why you'll see random people in here. This is a first for this guy. I've never seen it before. But I liked his post. Whale versus retail delta is providing clear signals about current market sentiment. 1. Whales are showing more interest in short positions on Bitcoin than retail. 2. Altcoins remain more neutral, still with a slight long bias, but move into negative territory could accelerate volatility. 3. The metric has not yet reached extreme levels like in 2022 during a more aggressive bear market. When whale versus retail delta turns negative, 2 scenarios typically emerge. 1. Sharp declines, often accompanied by high volatility. Apparently 3. I think he meant to put 2. Local bottoms forming as the market tends not to sustain excessive short positioning for long. We continue to monitor closely. April is likely to bring increased volatility, which is generally positive, returning volume, stronger institutional participation, and renewed market interest. Data is greater than narratives. I like it. We like data. And this is it. Whale versus retail. Whale versus retail. I guess that's it. Very cool. We got an ultrasound. See the baby bear. Oil supply, world oil supply choke points. We've got Panama Canal, Danish Straits, Turkish Straits, Suez Canal, Bab el Mandeb, Cape of Good Hope. You could literally just go farther away from that. That one's down. Strait of Morocco and Strait of Hormuz. Very cool. 20.9 million barrels per day in the Strait of Hormuz. 23.2 in the Strait of Morocco. Dang, that's crazy. Cape of Good Hope. How is there only 9.1? I guess 9.1 million. Where are you going, though? I guess South America, maybe? I don't know. That's weird. Very, very weird. Strait of Hormuz, 26.2%. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. Meta is now trading below its 100-week moving average for the first time since 2022, 2023. What's going on, Lunar Entity? I got a bone to pick with you, my friend. I'm actually dropped it off in the mail today. My therapy bill is on its way to you because I watched that damn video. It like scarred me for life. I was in the fetal position. It was terrifying. The music design. Oh my gosh, whoever did that, they did a fantastic job. Fantastic video. Like from a film snob perspective, I loved it. I ate that shit up, dude. Oh my gosh, it was so good. The music, top notch. I don't think anybody could have done any better. But it was fucking scary. I did. It was very, very, very terrifying. Existential, crisis inducing for sure. But from an artist's perspective, I loved it. I thought it was great. Cheers. Happy Friday, my friend. 88 said, these X posts are laughable. These cycles mean zero. It's all macro issues. Currently, they trump any fractals or cycles. Let's be real, no? I feel like it depends. Depends. Right now, I think it's strictly news-based. Like you said. But there's nothing that that dismisses these fractals and stuff. Now, we've seen a pattern for sure. We've seen a pattern over the past 6 to 8 months. Majority of these people that are like, this is what's going to play out exactly like this, and it doesn't play out that way at all. And there's plausible deniability in there. They can be like, well, that's because of the war and blah, blah, blah. Sure, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. We'll never know. Hindsight, we'll be able to see. But so far, majority of the time, the posts with the patterns and the fractals and the this is how it normally goes is usually incorrect. Up to this point. Lunar Entity said, the prediction on Notre Dame was 1-1 accurate. I don't know what that was. What is the prediction on Notre Dame? Bitcoin 66.51. Is this going to be the new 70? See, we've been the same price though for so long, man. It's just doing this thing. Did the dip, did the rip, and now it's going to continue. Oh my gosh. How fast is it going to fall? Are we going to open up? Let's just open up a damn short. I'm doing it. We'll open up a short. I'm going to make it. What are we making it? This is dumb? I agree. What's my liquidation? Hang on. Okay, I think that's doable. I'm doing it. It's done. Not financial advice. I'm doing a YOLO short. See what happens, man. We will see what happens. Repeat it long enough, we'll come to reality. Tell the same lie enough, people will believe. 2K on the short? 2K. 2K. That's funny. All right. Bitcoin 66.57 and 83 cents. Lunar Entity said there's a church that burns in iPedco 2 as the dude leaves the cave. That was Notre Dame. The spire actually fell the same way in real life. Oh, I remember the spire falling. Okay, yes. That's really weird. Maybe I should watch the video again. Okay. U.S. Treasury volatility hits highest level in 11 months. I'm gonna re-upload that video with different music, like really happy-go-lucky music. Just change the entire vibe, just so I can observe it without going into like psychosis. 10-year Treasury yield jumps above 4.45%, highest level since July. Berkshire Hathaway on track for its 8th consecutive red day, which would be its longest losing streak since 2018. It also just formed a death cross. Japanese 10-year bond yield soars to 2.38%, the highest level this century. That's crazy. France 10-year bond yield jumps above 3.86%, the highest level since the global financial crisis. That's also terrifying. Nasdaq 100 enters technical correction after falling more than 10% from its January high. Pressure building on the Japanese yen as it continues to weaken closer to the 160 levels against the US dollar. S&P 500 is now down 7% this year. Stock market plunges to an extreme fear reading of 10, the most amount of fear since before Thanksgiving. Tired of winning? The top 1% of earners now have more wealth than the entire middle class. That's crazy. This is crazy. I think we saw this, though. I think that cross happened a little while ago. Microsoft closes below its 200-week moving average for the first time in more than 13 years. Dear God. UBS, we got more private credit cracks. UBS Bank has stopped withdrawals from its nearly $500 million real estate fund for up to 3 years. Blue Owl, BlackRock, Blackstone, Apollo, UBS. Who's next? You decide. Anyone epic rap battles of history? Let's go back to Bitcoin. $66,039.35. Lunar Entity said. There's also a pi symbol on Baron Samedi's face, the skeleton that blows the party favor. We went into lockdowns on 3/14. Oh shit. Crazy. Okay. Confessions. I found an exploit on a crypto platform. We've talked about this. We've had polls about this. In 2024, I found an exploit on a crypto platform. I made away with about 2 Bitcoin and invested half of it into some real estate and blew the other half traveling the world. Now it's 1 year later and I'm thinking about selling the same real estate and buying some Bitcoin at these levels again. Crazy. Giovanni said, ERBOH, a man of culture, I see. Herbo? I don't know what that means either. Why are you guys saying these words? Confessions again. Before Trump coin, my meme folio was $1.6 million at the peak. A year later, I'm at 3K. This is where I think we need to have a discussion. I'm not a financial advisor. If I have a portfolio worth $1.3 million, $1.6 million, any $1 million, I'm taking the million. I'm taking the million out. I can leave whatever 100K in there. If I cannot take that 100K and make it into $1 million later, then what am I doing? I'm going to take my million out. I'm going to enjoy my million. I'm going to be a millionaire. You got to take profits, man. I'm not a financial advisor, though, so you can do whatever the hell you want. I got to take profits. 88 said, he is crazy. Keep the real estate. Out of where? I don't know. I do not know. Lunar Entity said, if memes make you rich, don't marry the coins. I can't even, I don't even know what would justify any of this. $1.6 million is insane. It started with an obsession for money and fame. I've come to realize that nobody other than my father wants me to win. Not my best friends or mentors who took me under their wing, forced to be selfish. I think people get into this weird mindset where they need everyone around them they need to be like the main character. And I think that that's the wrong way to live. And it gets these people into this weird mindset where they're like, what did I do wrong to deserve this? And they think that they deserve something, which I think is the wrong way to think. You don't deserve shit. Nobody owes you anything. You don't owe anybody else anything. Everybody's equal. So if you're not going to get out there and work for yourself, why the fuck should anybody else give a shit about you? You know what I mean? Lunar said, nobody other than my father wants me to win. Is that Bush Jr.? George Bush still cracks me up, man. That man can dodge a shoe, I gotta say. Also, throwing a shoe at a sitting president is fucking crazy. Crazy thing to do. That man should have been dead. You throw a shoe at a president, you die. I can't believe that happened. That's still one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed. Flightban said, the one good thing about retail using Bitcoin to take out loans on houses is this will lock up a lot of Bitcoin for years. That's true. Unfortunately, the rate is like 1 to 1.5% higher than the regular mortgage rate. So you're technically just paying for that benefit anyways. It just seems kind of silly to me. Maybe taxes, whatever. 88 says, man, I learned from experiences, it's best to look poor. No one expects nothing from you. Yeah. You would put it in a stable returning account? No. What? The $1 million? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. What do we do if we become a millionaire? We have $1 million. What do we do with the money? You put it in a savings account. You put it in gold and silver in a vault. Maybe you put it in multiple things. You put it in... What do you put it in? I would probably, if I become a millionaire, I think I'm going to like consult a proper financial advisor. MMF's textbook. Municipal bonds. Well, you're hoping Bitcoin goes up. That extra 1.5%. That's fair, actually. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So now here's my next question. You have, let's say, $1 million worth of Bitcoin. You go get your mortgage. I don't know what you got to back it. You know, not even $1 million. Let's say you have $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. You got $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. You get a house with it. That Bitcoin doubles. It is worth $500,000 now. You still owe $250,000 on your mortgage, your Bitcoin-backed mortgage. I don't think that they're going to let you sell half of your Bitcoin and just pay them off. I think that they're going to keep your Bitcoin until your dumbass pays off that $250,000. So I think that there's a conundrum there. You know what I mean? That's a great question. That's a great question for Brian Armstrong. He's here right now, actually. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be sick if Brian Armstrong just showed up? He's like, hey. Just like right at the ass end of the stream. 88 said, put it into a low-risk, free-ish account for 3 to 4%. No. 3 to 4%. What's 3% of 1 million? 30K a year? Yeah. Yeah, actually, yes. If it gets close to liquidating, you add more. If it doubles, you can take some out, right? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a question for Coinbase. I have no clue. JJ rubs Brian's head. What if Brian Armstrong was my biological brother? We are both incredibly bald. I don't know. We don't talk much. He's jealous that I can grow a full beard. I always find it funny that Brian Armstrong and Ben Armstrong have the same last name. 88 said, of course you'd refinance the loan and take equity out of it if it doubled. Can you do that, though? Can you refinance a Bitcoin-backed mortgage through Coinbase? I guess you could just get a loan for that much money. You'd have to convince them, though. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way out of it, but it's still kind of funny to think about. Because then, like, what if you had all of that sitting there and you couldn't? For some reason, there was, like, something in the paperwork where they're like, nope, you got to pay off $250,000 and you cannot do it. And then you just end up losing the mortgage. That would suck so bad. That would suck so bad, dude. Oh, my gosh. I think I would rob a bank at that point. I would rob a bank, pay off the mortgage, and then go pay the bank back. All right, I think we're set for the news segment today. Let's go see if there's any updates from Kobayashi Leonard. I'm sure there is, but let's go check anyways, just to make sure. We've got a couple updates. Iranian oil revenue surging. Very cool. Good for them. Foreigners are dumping Asian stocks at a record pace. Investors from overseas have sold $52 billion of Asian emerging market equities, including China so far in March, the biggest monthly withdrawal on record. Okay, very cool. Russia-Ukraine war. This comes as Asian economies account for around 80% of crude demand flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. Asia is taking the hardest hit from the war. That's so terrifying, dude. Xi Jinping might actually demand a sooner meeting with Trump. ETFs are off to their strongest start to a year in history. Global ETFs have attracted 500 ETF. I feel like ETFs are like the Web 2 version of tokenization. And I feel like that's why they're so popular, because people trust the stock market more than crypto still. And ETFs are like the most crypto-ish tokenization thing in the stock market right now. 88 said, now you would be able to. That would be insane, though. You'd be trying to hack Coinbase daily if that happened. Dude, you'd be doing something. You'd be like contacting people, like venture capitalists, like, hey man, I'll give you 50 grand if you can loan me 250K right now. I will give you 50K tomorrow. I will have the money. Here's the situation. You can come handcuff me somewhere and like I'll let you do everything. You know what I mean? Like you would try so hard to figure. You'd make a Kickstarter. You'd make a Kickstarter, and there would be one roll. So anyone that donates 250K, there's only one available, would get 50K. Like they would get 300K tomorrow. You know. Lunar Entity said refinancing is the lifeblood of this credit system. Passive investing has reached around 50%, roughly 51%. ETF slop has been absorbing money from people just trying to participate. Yeah. We got 7 votes on the current poll. 57% saying no, he doesn't actually care. Let's end it. Current poll, I asked you guys, do you think we see some form of taco soon as Trump can't maintain the bond market anymore? 57% of you guys said no, he doesn't actually care. 29% said yes, he'll claim victory soon. 14% said no, he's locked in right now. Nobody said yes, he has no choice to back off. Lunar Entity said the problem with passive investing is that it makes the markets inelastic. You are effectively exposing everyone to leveraged volatility. Yeah. What was the next one going to be? Oh. Start poll. Do you think this little charade gets Trump or loses Trump the midterms? Yes, he's so screwed. No, he'll fix it soon. Yes, people don't forget. Or no, people will just forget by then. Bam. Okay. The current poll. Do you think this little charade loses Trump the midterms? Yes, he's so screwed. No, he'll fix it soon. Yes, people don't forget. Or no, people will just forget by then. Let me know what you guys think. Are midterms a bust? ETFs are off to their string. Yeah, very cool. Voo. Equum. All right. I think we're all caught up. Bitcoin 66,141 and 54 cents. Are we going to... I don't know, man. I don't know. What are we going to? I want to ask Grok a question. What do you think is going to happen with the Middle East situation? Give me your play-by-play for when and how you think it ends and the effect it'll have on the markets. Let's see what Grok says. I'm curious if Grok's going to say, like, I think this is going to happen and it's going to take this long and whatever. Lunar Entity said the problem. Yep, I read that already. I appreciate you guys for being here. Happy Friday, as always. Thank you for smashing the like button. Silver, finally not sucking. Same with gold, very cool. DXY, also finally not sucking. Holy cow, the value of the US dollar is increasing. Who'd have thunk? Thought it was impossible. Midnight still somehow defying gravity. SNEC suffering a little bit. ADA suffering a little bit. Let's go through the ropes. XRP, first move, false move, breaking down. $1 is potentially in the cards. I'm not a financial advisor, though. We do have bullish divergence. As soon as we get a reversal, we could see some significant upside. H-bar, bottom of the range, descending channel, too. Sweet. Not really going on. I guess we got like a little support area right here at 87, random arbitrary number, but we bounced off of it several times. We'll see what happens. Ondo, I know it looked like it wanted to break out, but it kind of sucked right back into that zone. So let's see what happens. 26.33 is 25 going to be the holding point. Arrow, also kind of a descending channel right now. You got a really good volume candle pump the other day. For some reason, somebody loaded up 11%. Somebody loaded up so much on Arrow the other day. Is that a sign of things to come? Or is that somebody with a lot of money just getting over a little overly bullish? Polkadot, unfortunately melting away all of the fun that it had for a very short-lived period of time, but at least they had some fun. Good for them. At the bottom of the bottom right now, see if it goes lower. Avalanche also suffering significantly. $8.74, lost that $10 zone, and lost a lot more since then, actually. Chainlink, similar situation. Barely touched 10 bucks, lost it, breaking down out of our ascending channel, which is a bearish pattern, bearish continuation pattern. Let's see how low she goes. Chainlink probably going to a significantly decent buy zone if it's going to continue to the downside. And Doge, well below 10 cents. We are at 9 right now. Let's see what happens. Gold and silver look decent. DXY looks crazy. And it is the weekend. We got until Sunday night futures market open. Grok. My reasoned play-by-play forecast. Short next 2 to 6 weeks through mid-April 2026, April to May 2026. Tit for tat escalation plateaus. Israel keeps hammering Iranian weapon factories and remaining nuclear sites. Netanyahu has explicitly ordered max destruction in 48-hour windows. Hezbollah ramps drones, rockets, but gets attrited? I don't know what that means. Excuse me. Iran probes with sporadic single missile waves, mostly intercepted, and tries to squeeze the Strait of Hormuz for leverage without fully closing it. Trump has already paused energy plant strikes for 10 days to April 6th and floated a 15-point ceasefire plan via mediators like Pakistan, demanding nuclear curbs, proxy restraints, and open shipping lanes in exchange for sanctions relief. Iran is reviewing publicly while rejecting it as one-sided and floating its own counter-proposal. Reparations, sovereignty guarantees. Some back-channel progress happens. No major new ground invasions. Oil stays volatile but doesn't spike to 150 plus. Medium term, May to July. Ceasefire emerges. Iran, weakened, leaderless, and facing domestic fallout, takes an off-ramp to reopen Hormuz and get breathing room. Hezbollah agrees to a Lebanon deal. Israeli pullback from border areas plus partial disarmament south of the Litany. Monitored by the U.S. Gulf UN. Trump announces a historic deal, framing it as a total victory. Iran's nuclear program set back years. Proxies humbled. Formal signing by summer. With phased implementation, no one wins cleanly, but Israel neutralizes its most immediate threats. Iran survives as a regime, and the U.S. avoids quagmire. Endgame, by late 2026, early 2027, the axis of resistance is degraded but not destroyed. A new Iranian leadership, pragmatic headliner or reformers, consolidates power and refocuses inward. Proxy attacks drop to low-level harassment. Broader regional realignment accelerates. Expanded Israel-Gulf economic ties. Abraham Accords 2.0. Saudi normalization with Israel possible. And Iran more isolated but contained. Gaza ceasefire holds or advances slowly. Long-term risk of flare-ups remains. Iran will rebuild, but the acute multi-front crisis ends. This isn't 1979-style revolution or endless occupation. It's more like a messy armistice that resets the board for 5 to 10 years. Biggest wild card. What could go differently? Iran hardliners overplay Hormuz or hit a U.S. base hard, brief wider strikes. Israeli domestic politics push for more in Lebanon, or Trump walks away early if he gets a quick symbolic win. Probability of my base case, 70% de-escalation by summer. Full-blown regional war or stalemate drag 20 to 30%. Lower because economies and exhaustion win out. Market effects. Markets, blah, blah, blah. 98 ceasefire rumors. It's up 40 to 50% since February 28th. Short term now through May. Oil, gas spike in volatility. Stocks, defensive rotation, energy, defense, aerospace, winners. Big gains for U.S. shale, Lockheed, RTX, etc. Broader indices dip 5 to 10% on growth fears. Gold, USD, and treasuries are safe havens. Broader, some supply chain snarls, but U.S. energy independence plus SPR releases cushion it. No 1970-style crisis. Post-ceasefire, summer onward. Rapid unwind. Oil likely crashes towards 70 to 85 by Q3, Q4. As flows normalize, analysts already modeling this. Markets rebound hard. Lower energy costs equals consumer boost. Reduced inflation pressure. Fed room on ease if needed. Global growth takes a minor hit. 0.2 to 0.5% shaved off 2026 GDP forecast, but recovers fast. Winners, U.S. exporters, cyclicals, emerging markets less exposed to oil. Losers, anyone over-levered to high oil. Bottom line, this is painful but contains shock, not a systemic breaker. The war ends because no one benefits from dragging it out. Trump's deal instinct, Iran's survival needs, and everyone's balance sheets point to an exit ramp by mid-year. Watch the next 10 to 14 days of diplomacy, Trump's pause, and Iran's response for the first real signal. Things can shift fast, but history favors de-escalation over apocalypse here. Well, that sucks. I don't want to wait 2 freaking months. May to July. Yeah, that sounds like garbage. I hate that. All right, Bitcoin 66,147. Lunar Entity said the problem with passive investing is that it makes the market oh yeah, I read that already. John Tujo said 100K gold, 100K silver, 100K S&P, 100K crypto, 100K treasuries, 250K in bank account, 250K savings account. Hell yeah. That sounds like a win, John. I like that. All right. 100% again. This is the most agreed upon chat we've ever had. Do you think this little charade loses Trump the midterms? 100% of you guys, we have 4 votes, said yes, he's so screwed. Damn. You guys think he's screwed? I do not disagree. I do not disagree one bit. But I do have a hankering for some cereal, so I'm going to call it an evening. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Friday and good night. Join the Discord if you haven't already.